In example 4, we need to rotate the following diagrams clockwise about the origin. There's a few different ways to do this. One way is understand rotation with respect to distance and also the degrees of rotation and the direction. Another way we can start develop some rules that will help us. So what I'm going to do for you here is I am going to attempt to do this with the understanding of what a rotation is with respect to distance and also with respect to the degree and direction. And then we'll try to develop a rule together with what's going to happen with these different points here. So we're 90 degrees, we're going to go clockwise. So what I do sometimes is I'll draw like a little line here between the point of rotation, which is the origin, and then that point T here. And T prime is going to rotate 90 degrees, so I know that it has to be somewhere on this line right here, and I want the distance to be the same. So the distance is like a diagonal of a square here, so my new T must be here. T prime must be right in this spot. That's rotated 90 degrees, and it has the same distance from the point of rotation. The original T was -1, -1. T prime is -1, 1. So what's going to happen is this x position is going to move to the right, become the opposite, and this y is just going to move over here. So we're going to take all of our xy pairs on the original, or the pre-image, and we're going to take the y and move it over to the left in the x position, and then we have to take the opposite of the original x and move that to the y position. Let's try that with g. G is -3, 1. Okay, so we've got -3, 1. So G prime will be 1, 3. Let's see if it worked. 1 -3. Sorry about that. Oh, no, that's positive. I'm getting all screwed up here. Sorry. Let's see here. We've got -3, -1. I'm messing this up big time. Here we go. Let's start over here for G. Left 3, down 1 is -3, -1. We'll trade places here, but then we need to make that -3 positive. Got it now. Woo! -1, 3 would be up here. It should have the same distance between the original G and T, so here's G prime and T prime. So that's good. And it looks like here we have about a 90-degree angle, and that same distance that cuts kind of right across these 3 boxes right here. That'll cut right across those 3 boxes, and if you measured it, it'd be the exact same distance. Let's try this with B. So B is -3, -5. Alright, so we've got -3, -5. Hopefully I get it right this time. And B prime then should be, take the y that comes over, and then the -3, we need to do the opposite of that there. So we've got -5 and then 3. And if we drew a line here between B and B prime, it looks like that would form a right angle, and the distance also looks pretty good. So now all we really need to do is just connect the dots here, and we'll try to make this a little bit bolder for you so you can see it a little bit. Alrighty, and there we go. There it is. There's that new triangle that's been rotated 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. 180 degrees, we're going to take every x, y, and we're just going to take the opposite. So we can do this one pretty quickly, I think. We've got 0, -2, so that'll be 0, 2. And you can see we're 180 degrees from where we were. And compared to the origin, those two are the same distance. So I'll make that G prime there. Alright, we'll do y, which is -3, 0. So that should be 3, 0. And indeed, those are on opposite sides with the same distance. So there's y prime. M is a little different here. We've got -3, -4. So we're going to be at 3, 4 if we take the opposite of each one of those. And it looks to be good. If you've done this correctly, you should see a congruent triangle, one that has the same size or shape. And each one of those sides of the triangle should also be the same size as its corresponding side here. So YM would correspond to Y prime M prime. Got a couple more to do here, so we'll see if we can figure these guys out. And let's see here. Alright, so the rule for 270 clockwise is going to be negative yx. We're going to trade places again, and this time the y value, we're going to take the opposite of that. So let's do, maybe we'll start with m here. M is at 1, negative 2. So m prime should be at 2. We got to take the opposite of that y, and then 1. Let's see if that worked. So we've got 2, 1 here. So if you drew a line right here, there'd be 270 degrees of rotation, and this distance between m and this distance between the center here, or the origin, and m prime is the same. So that did work. The next one is 3, negative 3. So we should be at 3, 3, I believe. There we are. There's x prime. Okay. And negative 2, negative 3 should be 3, negative 2. Okay. There's that one. And then, let's see here. Let's just make sure I did that right. So negative 2, negative 3. I'm going to write it down. And j prime should be 3, negative 2. Ooh, I didn't do that right at all. No, wait, I did. Shoot! Getting all messed up here. 3, negative 2 is going to be right there, I believe. Yep, nope, that did work. That did work. Alright, now e here is negative 2, negative 4. So e prime should be 4, negative 2. Right. 4, negative 2 is right there. So there's j prime, there's e prime. And we're going to see what happens here. If we connect the dots, we should get a congruent shape, I hope. Alright. There's that one. And there's that one. And it does look like we have a congruent shape. That's good. That was j prime there. So I think we're all set. Let's try this one. We're going to do 90 degrees. Remember the rule there for 90 degrees clockwise is going to be y comma negative x. So it's a little different than this one. Here we had to change the value, or take the opposite of the y, and here we'll take the opposite of the x. So we've got negative 4, negative 1. So we should be at negative 1, 4, I think. And we can see that this does form, this does form a right angle, and it has the same distance, so that'll be your x prime. Negative 4, negative 3. Let's see, that would be negative 3, 4. So we're at negative 3 and 4 right there. So that'll be I prime. Looks like those are the same distance. That's good. And then e then, I think I'm just going to plot e here and we can verify it. Negative 3, negative 3. So we should be at negative 3, 3. And there it is. And the reason why I was able to plot that so quickly is I know that I and e are, well, they're just 1 unit away, and these two legs right here form a right angle, so we can just draw that figure in. Alright, and that does it for rotations.